Hi everyone! Welcome back to C2 Novel and Vocab Week 3, and this video is for our novel. So, why are we doing this and why are we watching this? And this is to show and help with difficult phrases from the novel. And this is to help with your cultural fluency. By becoming familiarized with different slang and colloquialisms, students will be able to relate to the novel and use these phrases to show their ideas more precisely. So not only are you just going to understand what it means from the book, but you can also use these phrases in your daily speech and writing. And in this video, we'll be going over The Secret School, chapters 9 through 12. So if you don't already, please go ahead and get your novel book. We need it, because we're going to open it up and read it together. So let's get started. Our first word and our phrase is from page 66. Look at the clocks. I'm going to start from the very beginning of chapter 9. Please follow along. It says, a tall woman stepped into the school. She wore a green felt hat and a black suit, the skirt reaching below her knees. A large purse dangled from one hand. Behind her, the children crowded into the room. Ida instantly recognized the woman as Miss Sedgwick from the county education office. She lived in Steamboat Springs, where the high school is, 20 miles down the valley. Now the quote. From time to time, Miss Sedgwick came to their school to do inspections, and it was she who gave the exit exams. So here, from time to time, what does time to time mean? Time to time means occasionally or sometimes, but not regularly. From time to time is a phrase that has been used for many years to indicate and show something that happens only sometimes. It suggests that there is no fixed schedule for Miss Sedgwick's visits, and she comes when she just needs to. This helps convey and show that her visits are just a bit spontaneous, not frequent or predictable. So for example, you can use this phrase anytime by saying, from time to time we go to the park to play. So maybe you don't go to the park to play all the time, but sometimes. But it's also not every Friday, but from time to time. Or you can say, she checks her phone from time to time during the day. So she's not always on her cell phone, but she just checks it sometimes to see if she has some messages. From time to time. So as you can see, I have the check mark where it says sometimes. And the other video is the clocks moving. Very good. Let's go to page 72. Everyone say 72. Let's start with the indent right after the big paragraph where it says with that in the middle of the book. It says, with that, Miss Sedgwick, without another word, got into her car and drove off. Oh, you're going to get in trouble now, Herbert said. What do you think she'll do? Tom asked Ida. Don't know, Ida said. Has anyone besides me told their parents that I'm the new teacher? No one admitted it. Best hold your tongues. Now, recess is a long time over, Ida announced and headed back inside. Best hold your tongues. But what does it mean here, best? I thought best was like, oh, I'm the best student. Best here doesn't mean that exactly. Best here is used to suggest a more advisable action, saying, you should. It means that it's a good idea to blah, blah, blah. Best, blah, blah. So if I were to say, for example, best you do your homework before playing video games, that means what? Yes, you should probably finish your homework before playing video games. Or best we leave early to avoid traffic, meaning we should leave early so that we are not stuck in car traffic. Or best to stay indoors during the storm, meaning if there is a storm happening, it is a good idea to stay inside. Best. But the next one, it says, best hold your tongues. As you can see, this cat holding its tongue. No. Holding your tongue means to shh, remain silent, or stop talking. Hold your tongue just means it's a metaphor to just say, shh, be quiet. It suggests physically holding your tongue to stop yourself from speaking. It is a way to tell someone to stop talking without being a bit too harsh or mean about it. You can say, she wanted to argue but decided to hold her tongue. So instead of arguing back and getting angry, she decided to hold her tongue and not say anything. Very good. Best hold your tongues. So usually for a test, a monthly test or vocabulary test, you best hold your tongue so that you're not talking in class during the test time. Or if you have nothing nice to say to someone, you best hold your tongue so you don't say anything mean to someone either. Shh. Page 75. Let's go to page 75. And I'm going to start from the very top on page 75. It says, Mary was behind in reading. Natasha was ahead. Should she review Natasha's progress before allowing her to go on to the next higher level reader? Or should she concentrate on Mary? Herbert continued to be absent a lot, and he didn't work much when he was there. He was slipping further and further behind. She tried to help him, but he was the only one in the class who didn't seem interested in learning. Slipping further and further behind. So does this mean here in this picture where this person is slipping and they're getting behind something? Slipping here does not mean the actual verb of slipping on something that is wet, but instead, slipping here means that they're gradually falling more and more behind others. So in this case, meaning with their learning or their progress in school. Herbert's not doing as well as others, and he's getting a bit behind of others. The phrase slipping behind is often used to describe a gradual decline in performance or progress compared to others, meaning you're comparing how well they are doing. So Herbert here, since he hasn't been going to school, he's been slipping. He's getting back on his studies. He's not doing as well as the others. So meaning it's showing that there's going to be a lot of difficulty for him to try to catch up. For example, you can say he was slipping behind in his chores and couldn't catch up, meaning he had to maybe throw out the trash, clean the bathroom, clean the room, take out the recycling, and he didn't do it, so he was slipping further and further behind, meaning it kept piling up. So next one, slipping further and further behind. I hope none of you are slipping further and further behind in your studies and that you're always ahead of everyone. Page 79. Oh my goodness, look at all these pictures that I have. They look kind of busy, don't you think? My. Page 79, but I'm going to start on page 78 at the last indent where it says honey. Everyone there? Honey, her father said, think of what you're trying to do. The work around here, your teaching, moving on with your own studies, and I guess just being yourself. You've taken on a whole lot. What does it mean? What does it mean here? You've taken on a whole lot. This means you have accepted or started dealing with something. A whole lot means a large amount of something. It highlights the big burden or workload someone has taken on. So here, taken on means that you've accepted too many tasks or responsibilities. So as you can see in this picture, this person here is having so much work, they're carrying it with their back. Or in the middle picture where they're kind of going crazy with phone calls, messages, and all that paperwork. And on the very last picture, this woman has her laptop, she has 5 arms, and she's trying to deal with a lot. So here, Ida has also taken on a lot, trying to be the teacher, trying to help others, trying to also do well in her studies, and also do all the chores, meaning she's taken on a lot. She's really, really busy. So, I don't want you all to take on too much work that you cannot handle. Make sure that you have some time to also play and relax. So don't take on too much, okay? Page 101. Let's skip all the way to page 101. Page 101. I'm going to start at the very top. It says, oh no, let's start at the last paragraph on page 100. I'm sorry. It says, I'm afraid, said Miss Hedwig, this won't work unless everyone agrees. She turned to Herbert. Young man, would you reconsider? Page 101. Aw, he scowled. If I take that exam, I'm just gonna fail it. Herbert, please, Ida pleaded. Herbert stared at his desk. Once more, Ida said, those in favor? This time, all hands, including Herbert's, rose. So this is the part where they're saying, in the beginning, the exit exams were only for the 8th graders, right, for Tom and Ida. But now Miss Sedgwick is saying, if you all want to continue this Miss Ida school, then you have to all take the exams. So they were voting, but Herbert didn't raise his hand at first, and then he raised his hand later. Those in favor here was already mentioned in the previous chapters, but I wanted to go over it again just in case if you didn't understand. So those in favor means it is asked to see who agrees with an idea or decision. So in favor means to support or agree with something. It's commonly used in voting or making decisions in a group. It's the formal way to ask for agreement or support. So here it says those in favor, meaning everyone who agrees that they're going to take an exit exam, please raise your hand. And then they all voted. They all had to raise their hands and vote. That's why I have all these hands up on these pictures. For example, you can use those in favor for the new rules, raise your hand. So say that the new rule was that you cannot eat snacks at MI forever. And you say those in favor, those who agree, raise your hand. I hope no one raises their hand for that. And then another way you can say is, we asked those in favor for pizza for dinner, and everyone agreed. So those in favor who want pizza, raise your hands. And then everybody raised their hands. Very good. Let's go to page 104. 104. At the very top, the first paragraph, let's start there. Ready? Honey, Mr. Bixler's wife, died when Herbert was still a baby. Mr. Bixler's had bad luck on his farm. Lost a whole lot of sheep because of disease. Folks say his debt is piling up. He's not a happy man. Unhappy folks do unhappy things. So here, we're just trying to think of that Mr. Bixler is not just a mean man, but he's an unhappy man. And it says that here his debt was piling up. Debt is money that you owe someone, maybe to the bank or to other people. So as you can see, this money is piling up. What does it mean to pile up? So piling up means that it's just continually growing until it's a big pile. So all the money that he owes is slowly becoming not just as much, but getting more and more and more and more. But we don't have to just say debt. We can say, oh my goodness, my homework is piling up. I had too much to do. I've taken on too much. We just used two phrases in one little scenario. So piling up, or you can say, oh, we need to take out that recycling. It's piling up. It's getting more and more and more. We're increasing it. Good. We have another one on page 104 at the very bottom. Let's start with Ida shook her head. Everyone see in the middle? Ida shook her head. Can't be any worse than what you've already told me, can it? Her mother coaxed. Ma, I've been working so hard at teaching. I've been letting my own studying go. Way I'm going, I'll be the only one failing the exam. Well, Miss Bitson, however you decide to head off that problem, I suggest you start by getting into some clean clothes. So, head off. Head off? No. Head off means to start with. Okay? To head off a problem means to prevent it from happening or to stop it from becoming worse. Or you can say head off that problem, meaning do something about it so that it's not a problem anymore. The phrase head off comes with the idea of intercepting something at the start or leading it in a different way, meaning head off meaning to lead to a different direction. Okay? So however you head off that problem, however you decide to, stop it and make it go in another way, she's suggesting that you should at least try to get into some clean clothes first. It suggests that you should take action or avoid trouble or difficulties. For example, we can use this phrase by saying, we need to head off the argument before it gets too heated. I mean, we need to stop this argument right now before everyone gets too angry. Or you can say, she tried to head off the misunderstanding by explaining clearly. Meaning, say that there is a misunderstanding, but she wanted to head off and change the direction so that there is some explanation and that there's no miscommunication anymore. So, to start there, to do something about it. Head off. And now is the time for our mission. And I would like it to remind you, please write your name, class, answer, and I want you to add the page number of where you got the answer. Okay? So our mission for this week is, what is the date of the exit exams? It was a very minor detail in these few chapters that we read, but hopefully you saw it and caught on to it. Make sure you put it into the mission box at the front desk. And now it is time for you to review and self-study. For this, I need you to review the phrases again, read it out loud, reread the novel where these phrases came from to fully understand, and then complete your novel homework. And we're done with week 3 already. Wow. I hope you're having lots of fun reading this book. And if you have any questions or notes, you can also just write it and put it into the YouTube mission. I'll write you a little note back. Okay? Thank you for joining me this week. And I'll see you guys week 4. Bye.